Hello everyone, my name is Gareth Thomas and welcome to AAT from Central London at London School of Business and Finance. This afternoon I'm course manager at the AAT here and I would like to talk you through a Synoptic assessment question for the Advanced Diploma at Level 3. And we will spend by the end of the afternoon 30 minutes covering a question and an answer, and hopefully by the end of this our objective is you will be happier, you'll be comfy and you will be more confident at approaching the AAT Advanced Diploma Synoptic Assessment. So we've got a Friday yet again. Thanks to those of you that have watched before. Relax, enjoy and get ready for the weekend. So here we go. Now, the first thing I'd like to do today is to recap very quickly and briefly what the AAT are looking for and what the examiner is after on the Advanced Diploma Synoptic Assessment. We know already that the Synoptic is brought in from various sections of the syllabus. We're covering the bookkeeping, the ethics, the financial accounts of sole traders, the costing, the spreadsheets. Everything comes into the Advanced Diploma Synoptic Assessment. And for section 1, which we are concentrating on today, the section 1 has 3 questions, and the 3 questions are really based all around the ethics modules, because that is not examined anywhere else, and you probably already know that. So we're expecting some ethics. Now last week, for those of you that watched, what we did was we covered a question which was really primarily drawn from the ethics section of the syllabus. Today we'll go and look further ahead and look at question 2 and see where this is drawn from as well. Now what I have in front of me is the assessment objective for task 2, and what you have to do and what is expected of you here is to prepare accounting records and respond to errors, omissions and other concerns in accordance with accounting and ethical principles and relevant regulations. So that is the overall assessment objective. Now 15% of the marks for section 1 are based around this. So there are 15 marks available for this type of question. And this is how it's allocated. Section 1, 45 marks, and section 2 has 55. Now, what is the examiner looking for? So let's take a look at what we need to know. Well, the first thing is, the first load of objectives have come from ethics for accountants. And what we have here, and what you need to know, is you need to recognise how to act ethically in an accounting role. And you may well have come across this in the workplace already. And you may have been faced with this situation. If not, we need to be prepared for it. Also, to identify what sort of action to take in relation to unethical behaviour or illegal acts. So in other words, if you find yourself in that situation, what are you going to do about it? Okay, how will you approach it? How would you deal with the situation? And that is going to be somewhere in this task. So we're aware of that. Now, secondly, the examiner has drawn something from another section of the syllabus at level 3. And this assessment criteria comes from the advanced bookkeeping unit. Now, already you will have studied your advanced bookkeeping and you will be in a position, hopefully, to have passed this very well and able to introduce the techniques and the skills that you've already developed, because this is going to be coming up again. And what we're looking for here is to apply the principles of advanced double entry bookkeeping. So covered at level 2, covered again at level 3. And you will need to apply these principles and to know to rule off accounts and the debits and credits, things that you're familiar with. You'll also be expected to know for this section how to implement procedures for the acquisition and disposal of non-current assets. And I think if you recall from your advanced bookkeeping, you dealt with the fixed asset register and procedures for authorization. So this also is being drawn into this particular question. Prepare and record depreciation calculations. Again, from the advanced bookkeeping, and there are various depreciation methods, and the double entry bookkeeping required is something you will have studied. So this also appears, or could appear. And then the last one here is the period end adjustments. How do you adjust the accounts for the end of the accounting period? So we've got two sections to cover so far. We've got some ethics and we've got some advanced bookkeeping. So this adds really to the content of this question. Now, in addition to that, the examiner is also pulling in learning objectives from your final accounts preparation unit as well. So there are three sections coming in here altogether. And what you might need to do for this, or what you can expect in some format or other, we can't tell exactly what, but in some format, you will have to explain the need for final accounts and the accounting and ethical principles underlying their preparation. So you will need to draw your knowledge from this particular unit. And also to prepare accounting records from incomplete information. Now, that should spring to mind various control accounts that you've worked with previously, and there may well be a missing figure, and you could be asked to balance something off and find the missing figure. So that is another element of your level 3 that is being examined under this section. So there's quite a lot of choice and a lot of options for the examiner to use here, but there's nothing there from the costing section of the syllabus. So for this particular question, no costings. That will appear at a later stage. Something to look forward to. Okay. Now, since we know what the examiner is looking for, let's see how this question is answered. What are the examiner's comments on? What feedback is available to students? And again, it's generic feedback. It covers a whole host of exams that have taken place under this unit. So the examiner's comment, generally well answered. However, some weakness in double entry. So we would home in on this, and that will tell us and you as students, you need to have your double entry up to scratch. Okay, you need to practice your double entry before going into your synoptic assessment. You know what's going to come up, so we need to practice. Sometimes students are unaware of which course of action to take regarding ethical dilemmas, which I'm not sure is correctly spelled there. However, that is what you will need to be aware of. So what can you do in a situation? That's what that is telling you. How do we approach a situation, and what decision making do we take as a result of a situation that we have found ourselves in? So there's a great deal of information to cover, and comments from the examiner should help the situation. So let's go and have a look at the question and take it into question 2. Now, what we have for question 2, this is task 1.2, and for the synoptic assessment, it actually, section 1 is 1.1, 1.2, 1.3, and that covers your the full section. Now, this task is based on the work-based scenario of BLM and Co. Today's date is the 15th of April, and BLM and Co.'s VAT control account is as follows. Now, what it might spring to mind here actually is VAT is generally not examined as part of the synoptic assessment because it's a separate unit and it's been taken out of the synoptic assessment. However, it can still appear because the VAT control account comes under the syllabus of advanced bookkeeping and financial accounts, or for sole traders and partnerships. So it appears throughout, and it's appeared last year as well under your control account section. So you could see a VAT control account. It doesn't matter what control account it is. So we need to be able to deal with this. That's what we say in here. So don't be alarmed. Okay, don't be alarmed with this. Now, what we have then, we have a cash book element in there. We have the purchases day book. These are all on the debit sides, which we can see. We've got the sales returns day book in there, and we've got a balance carried down. Now, all those look as if they are posted on the correct side, so that's fine. We've got a brought down balance, which is a credit balance, and we would expect that on a VAT control account. That is a liability, and it's amount that is owing. And in fact, that does equate with a cash book, which means your VAT has been paid later than the brought forward balance. In fact, the following month here. Now, we've also got the sales day book in there, and we've got a figure of 161,728.27. That's fine, and a purchase returns day book. So that looks okay. Now let's have a look at the requirements of the question. I think that's the best thing to do. Everything looks fine there. Corrections are required. Okay. What would be the revised balance carried down? So what we are looking to do, we are looking this figure here. If I can just make sure I'm out of the way, is going to change as a result of some corrections that you have been asked to make. Now, the mark allocation for this is 2 marks. So really this should be a straightforward 2 marks. So VAT of 2983.5 on a sales invoice was wrongly recorded as sales on the 29th of March. So this VAT was actually posted to the sales day book, which was incorrect. Now it's in the sales day book, whereas it should be in the VAT control account because it is VAT. So they've done this incorrectly. How do you rectify it? Now it doesn't ask for a journal, so you don't need to produce the full double entry on this. All you need to do is to make an adjustment on this account. And there are 2 approaches actually to doing this, and we'll have a look at both of them because one reinforces the other. Now if I scan up a little bit, I am going to start with a closing balance figure, which was 61,482.13. Okay, that's the closing balance figure. Now, there's VAT of 2983, and it should have been in there. If the VAT is in here, then that figure will increase that amount there. So hopefully we can work that out. If that figure has increased, then also this closing balance figure there, that will also increase. So we need to add that to the closing balance. So the VAT of 2983.50 is going to be added into that figure. That is going to increase the closing balance. So that's dealt with. So that's that one. I'll just tick that slightly to know I've dealt with that one. Now, a supplier had overstated VAT by £50 on an invoice received and posted by BLM. So in this time, there's an invoice that's actually been received. So that would constitute a purchase. Now, if there's a purchase being made, the VAT for purchases is on the debit side, which is here on the purchases day book. So the VAT is going to change that figure there. Okay? And that figure has been overstated, which means the VAT is in there twice. And it's therefore going to reduce that figure. So we would have 99120 pounds 25, and we would need to take from that the £50 that was in there because it's been overstated, and that would come out as a minus, which means the correct figure in there would be 99070 pounds and 25. So that figure is decreased. Now, if that figure decreases, you're probably already working ahead, then what happens then is that figure, again, the closing balance must increase. So I'm going back up to my working that I started initially, and I'm going to put the £50 into there, and I'm going to add that figure up. And I've then adjusted my VAT closing balance figure to the correct figure as a result of these two errors. So that has now been dealt with. So adding these figures up, we have 61, if you like to do this as we go along, that's fine. So we've got 61482.13 plus 2983.5 plus 50, and that should equal 6464563. So we've got 64515.63. And that therefore is the closing balance. Now let's scan down a little bit. 64515.63. And that would be the first mark or 2 marks gained by doing those adjustments. Now what you can do at this stage, and it's entirely up to you, but I think as a good guide and to make sure you're happy with that figure, because you really need to prove it to yourselves when you're in the exam, you want to bag the marks that are available. So what I would do there, I would then reconstruct the control account. So in other words, you can put that has stayed the same, that has stayed the same, that hasn't, that's got the new balance there. Okay, that's the same. Your Seals daybook will have changed. That's 6172827. You will need to add the 2983.50 into there. So that comes to 161,728 times 27 plus your 2983.5. That comes out as 164711. £77. That will change that figure there. And when you add these up together and balance the accounts off, you will find that that figure of 61482 will will have changed to become that figure there. And hopefully that reinforces exactly what you've done. So that's 2 marks. Seems quite a lot of work for 2 marks. However, it's just reconstruction, and with practice you will get quicker at this as well. So we can press on with this figure. Complete the following sentence. This balance will appear when? Will it be a credit or a debit? Well, it's a debit that side. It'll come forward as a credit. When you bring forward a credit, it's a liability, which is where it will appear. So it will appear on the credit side of the trial balance. So it's a liability. So I think that's quite a straightforward mark for allocation there. Okay, let's move on. We now discover that BLM & Co has been supplying sinks to Malone Limited, okay, a company owned and run by the brother of your fully qualified colleague, Jed Malone. When you look at the relevant invoices, you realise that Jed has been misrecording VAT, so that BLM & Co sales to Malone are overstated. Okay. As a result, Malone qualifies for a 15% discount. So in other words, this really benefits the person that it's happened to on its future purchases. Right. Applying the conceptual framework from the ethical code. So use your ethics filtering in. Which of the following describes the situation faced by Jed Malone when recording sales to his brother's company? Choose one option. So what situation are we in? Well, we've got 3 choices. Is there a self-review threat? Professional competence? Not really. Familiarity? Actually, that one jumps out for this particular question. Or intimidation? There's no intimidation, so we can leave that. Familiarity? Yes. So I think that's a straightforward answer because it's a relationship. Now, so what's the next course of action? To send a report to the National Crime Agency or to tell Brian and Lakmani about your concerns? Well, there's no need to send a report at this stage. Just voice your opinion. So we'll take that. Okay. On the following morning, Jed Malone is dismissed for misconduct and leaves the office. You were the only accountant, so what are you going to do? A VAT officer will be coming and a planned visit on the afternoon. So you're not prepared. Do you resign? That's the last resort, no. Request that the visit is postponed or agree to deal with the VAT officer. So let's postpone the visit, 2 marks, nice and easy. Okay, so let's press on. Because of Jed's misconduct, you have to examine the sales ledger. So what have we got here? The sales ledger has 492,409 as an opening balance, brought down, easy enough. And we've got 4 items to journal. So how do we journal these? We have receipts from credit customers, sales returns, and bad debts or irrecoverable debts. So let's have a look and let's post these. One is the cash book. So receipts from credit customers, I beg your pardon, is from goes into the cash book. So the receipts for this one, 934076. So we'll have 934076, and that is cash book. We've then got sales to credit customers, 970, 370. So that would be the sales day book. SDB, we'll just use the abbreviation here. And that figure is 970, 370. We've then got returns from customers. So sales returns, SRDB, 21177. 21,21177. Then we have irrecoverable debts. So we call these bad debts. Bad. And the amount for bad debts or irrecoverable debts are 4330. So we've got 4330. So what have we got? So we've posted those for 4 marks, or 2 marks actually, so that's not so bad. Then we need to calculate the missing figure. So let's add the figures up first of all. That should give us 1446937. And on the other side we have 1462779. So those are the totals inserted. Now what's the requirement? Calculate the missing figure in the sales ledger control account. Now they don't balance, as you can see, so there will be a missing figure. And again, what the examiner's done, he's brought in that section of the missing figure into this particular part of the question here. So if you take that from that, we get a missing figure of 15842. So the missing figure, 15842, complete. So which of the following could the missing figure represent? Let's have a look. Could it be discounts allowed? Will it be on the correct side? Could it be a check, a return check? No, it's the other side. Or could it be cash sales? Well, we know cash sales is not part of the sales ledger control account, so that won't be there at all. So we're looking for that missing figure of 15842. I think the most logical thing, and the only thing it could be, are the discounts allowed. So there's 2 marks for identifying that, and that has to jump out in the question. Lastly, complete the following statement about irrecoverable debts. Is it calculated as a percentage of the total trade receivables? No, because that would be a provision. Okay, that's providing for the debt. Does it relate to a specific customer? Possibly. Let's have a look. Let's see what the last possibility is. Does it increase the balance on the allowance for doubtful debts? Well, a doubtful debt is a provision, so it wouldn't be a provision that's increasing, it's actually being written off. So what we're doing is writing the debt off, so it would be specifically written off against a particular customer. So we will tick that there. And what we've done, we have finished question 2 of the advanced synoptic assessment. So 15 marks, guys, to do that. Okay, worked very well through that question, and there were a lot of things that were brought in at the end. So we had the ethics, we had the bookkeeping units, both of them that applied there, and we managed to produce an answer using quite a lot of techniques that you've developed over the last sort of study period that you've done. Very straightforward exam question, really, and I would have thought you could be quite confident in approaching this and sitting back. You know what to expect, okay? Rework the example, of course. That is the essence, to practice and practice. If you don't understand, concentrate on your weaker areas. Thank you very much for watching. I hope everyone will join us next week for another edition of LSBF TV. So have a great weekend. See you next week. Bye.